Hi everyone, it's Wednesday Warriors, and it's me, Arielle. Last week I talked about peace, integrating peace into your recovery. And this week I'm going to be talking about peace again, but in a different way. I'm going to be talking about peace as a way to move forward, as a way to create a beautiful future. The future is very important in recovery, and it can be hard not to get ahead of yourself and not to move too quickly. And I know I've talked before about taking one day at a time or 1 hour at a time if you need to. So when we're talking about the future, you're probably thinking, well, how is that going to help me? Because the future is the bigger picture, and the future is this huge, huge goal, and I'm not ready for that. I need to just take one day at a time. But when peace is involved, it's a little bit different. The thing about peace is that it demands respect. It demands respect for you, for yourself. Peace gives you balance. Peace gives you perspective. Peace brings you back to you. Peace can give you a sense of purpose, which is really important, because if we feel like we're not shooting for anything in recovery, then we get in that place that I like to call a plateau, where things are just kind of stagnant. You may have definitely decided to choose recovery and you want to move forward, and maybe you've moved forward to a point and you don't intend on going back to your eating disorder, but life isn't really great. It's not as you expected it would be, and you need to be doing more and be moving farther forward in order to really achieve the happiness and the life you want for yourself, but you just can't. You're kind of stuck. And that stuck feeling is what happens when we don't have a true sense of purpose, or when we're still sort of floundering and we're trying to find our purpose. Purpose is important because it helps us to respect ourselves, and sometimes respecting ourselves is extremely difficult, but respecting ourselves can be easier than loving ourselves at times. And I think that love is a word that people struggle with in regards to themselves, because that concept of self-love, if it doesn't seem scary, it seems ridiculous, and people just kind of shy away from it, and they think, I don't love myself yet. How do I get to that place? Do I even really want to love myself? Or what does that mean? And they get it confused with being conceited or being self-indulgent. And when they start thinking about it, they're thinking about it too much. They're overthinking it. But the concept of self-love can be hard to grasp, but it can also be really hard to learn. So maybe you want to love yourself, but you're not quite there yet. You can start with respect, and that's a great first step. And it might seem kind of weird for you to equate peace and respect, but for me, coming from just a personal standpoint, peace just has a lot to do with self-respect, and that might not be the case for everyone. And that's the beauty of being able to make videos on such broad topics, because everyone has a different perspective and everyone has a different something that they bring to the table, and this is mine. I think that in talking about peace, self-respect is in there. I feel more peaceful when I respect myself, and when I respect myself, I'm better able to love myself. And when I'm able to love myself, I'm happy. Life is good, and it doesn't matter what the external things are in my life. I guess I wouldn't say that it doesn't matter, but even if there are negative things out there or bad things happen, as they certainly will, I feel like I can get through it and I can still be happy, because the happiness is coming from within. It's not coming from without. I'm not looking towards something or someone else to make me happy. It's just me with me. And that's the starting block. That's the point. And I start my day that way. And that's peace. And that's how I created a beautiful future. And I think a beautiful future is possible for anyone. That's the great thing about this concept, this reality of peace. No matter what your life is like, if you are in a war-torn country, or if you are in an abusive relationship, or if you're struggling to leave home and be on your own for the first time, whatever your life is about right now, you're still in it. And every day begins with you and the breath that you take, and hopefully the gratitude that you feel at waking up to face another day. And sometimes the day that you have to face is extremely difficult or painful or full of tragedy. Good days are sometimes not in abundance, and that's a hard reality to face. But gratitude can start small and it can grow. And gratitude is a huge, huge part of peace for me. I've done a couple of other videos about gratitude, I think around the end of 2012, so I'll post the links to those in the info box for this video if anyone's interested in learning a little bit more about how I practice gratitude and why I think gratitude is so helpful in life in general. You know, I was just on vacation, and there's really something to be said for experiencing the peace of getting away and having a change of scenery and experiencing relaxation. That's a really real, beautiful form of peace, and being able to sort of change things up and get into a different atmosphere and just really focus on everything around you and just sort of be one with everything that's going on and take those breaths and take some breaks from the daily life that you have. It's important. And to some extent, you know, that's peace, but we can't achieve that on a daily basis. So that's the reason that peace has to start within. And peace doesn't always come easily, especially when bad things are going on. And I'm by no means immune to negativity or complaining or bad things happening. And, you know, I forget about peace a lot of the time. And I have to remind myself that I can choose to feel peaceful, and I can choose peace, and I can choose gratitude over everything else. And it's a choice that I have. And I know that can sound really, really almost impossible when you think of people who are in situations that are just beyond horrible and beyond awful. And you know, you think, how can they possibly choose peace and choose gratitude and choose that deep kind of spirituality that can get them through from one moment to the next and one day to the next? But it happens, and it happens every day, and it's real. I mean, haven't you ever known or seen a person who seemingly had absolutely nothing, and yet they had that smile on their face or that joy within them, and they didn't think it was any big deal? You know, you were thinking, wow, you don't have this or you don't have that, you're homeless, you lost your child, you know, whatever the situation is, you're thinking if that was you, that you would just be devastated and heartbroken. And I'm sure that maybe that happy smiling person was heartbroken at a time, but there are so many people out there, if you just look for them, that they seem to have nothing, and yet they're happy, or they're content, they're at peace, and things are fine because they choose to be at peace. There is a choice, and that's just one of the most amazing things about humankind and about the human spirit. The human spirit is full of energy and full of challenges and full of problems and quirks and flaws and faults, and it's also full of peace. The human spirit wants to be at peace, and peace means different things for different people, just like a recovered life means different things for different people, and recovery looks different for everyone, especially depending upon what you're recovering from. But life is good because you're living it, you're alive, and if you start there with that fact, peace can just wrap itself around you. I hope you have a wonderful, peaceful week, everyone, and I will see you next time.